The massive alien ship hung in space like a dark metal moon. Commander Zexthara stood on the bridge, his forearms crossed behind his back. Through the wide window, he could see the small blue planet below. Earth looked so peaceful from up here. So weak. How many ships do they have? Zexthara asked his second in command. Only 43, Commander. Most are very old. Their weapons are basic laser cannons and small missiles. Nothing that can hurt our shields. Zexthara made a sound that was like laughing. The humans had barely learned to travel between stars. They had only 3 small colonies outside their home system. The Galactic Council had been watching them for 50 years. Earth was perfect for what they needed. They breed fast and work hard, Zexthara said. Perfect slaves for the mining worlds. And they seem tough enough to survive in bad conditions. On the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Council was meeting. 12 different alien races sat around a huge table. They had ruled space for thousands of years. Every new species they found either joined them willingly or became their slaves. It was simple and it worked. Ambassador Creedle was the oldest member of the council. His people had lived for millions of years. He had seen hundreds of species rise and fall. Humans were nothing special to him. The hegemony fleet is ready, Creedle said in his ancient voice. Commander Zexthara reports that human defenses are weak. This should be over quickly. What about their colonies? Asked General Morduk of the warrior caste. 3 settlements could cause problems later. Small mining posts? Creedle replied. A few thousand humans each. Once we control Earth, the colonies will surrender. They have no choice. The council members agreed. This was how it always went. Take the home world, and the rest would follow. They had done this same thing 47 times before. Species that fought back were destroyed. Species that surrendered became workers. It was the natural order of things. Back at Earth, Captain Sarah Chun stood in the command center of Luna Base. She was looking at the screens that showed space around Earth. What she saw made her blood run cold. Hundreds of alien ships were moving toward them. Each ship was 10 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. How long before they reach us? She asked. 6 hours, Captain, replied Lieutenant Morrison. His voice was shaking. Should we send a message to Earth Command? Already done, Sarah said. But I don't think help is coming in time. The alien fleet moved with perfect order. Zexthara had planned this attack for months. First, they would destroy the human space stations. Then they would take out the ships. Finally, they would surround Earth and demand surrender. Simple and clean. Begin the attack, Zexthara ordered. The alien weapons fired. Beams of pure energy reached across space in seconds. Luna Base exploded in a ball of fire. 3 human ships tried to fight back, but alien shields turned their weapons into harmless light. More beams fired. The human ships disappeared. Sarah Chun was on Luna Base when it was hit. She managed to get into an escape pod just before the station died. As her small pod drifted toward Earth, she watched the aliens destroy everything humanity had built in space. 40 years of progress gone in 20 minutes on Earth. President Williams stood in the emergency command room deep under the government buildings. Reports were coming in from all over the planet. The aliens had taken out every satellite, every space station, every ship. Earth was completely cut off from space. Sir, we're getting a transmission, said General Hayes. It's from the alien fleet. Put it on screen. The face that appeared was not human. Zexthara had blue skin and 4 eyes. When he spoke, his voice was translated by human computers. People of Earth, Zexthara said. I am Commander Zexthara of the Hegemony. Your world is now under our control. You have one choice. Surrender and become workers for the Galactic Council, or we will destroy your planet. You have 6 of your hours to decide. The transmission ended. The room was quiet for a long time. What do we know about them? President Williams asked. Not much, sir, replied Dr. Elena Vasquez, the head of the alien research team. We'd been watching their signals for years, but we never made contact. They seem to have technology far beyond ours. Their ships use some kind of energy shield that stops all our weapons. How many other species have they conquered? Asked General Hayes. From what we can tell, dozens, maybe hundreds. They seem to follow the same pattern every time. Quick attack, demand surrender, then take control. President Williams sat down heavily. He was old and had never expected to face something like this. Do we have any chance if we fight? Dr. Vasquez shook her head. Sir, they just destroyed our entire Space Force in minutes. Their weapons are like nothing we've ever seen, and those ships, each one could probably level a city. In space, the alien fleet waited. Zexthera was confident this would end soon. Humans were young and weak. They would see that fighting was hopeless and give up. It always happened this way, but he did not know humans very well. On Earth, people were not panicking like Zexthera expected. Instead, something else was happening. In cities around the world, humans were gathering. Not to surrender, but to plan. Military bases were busy preparing weapons. Factories were being converted to make new tools of war. Captain Sarah Chain's escape pod landed in the Pacific Ocean. She was picked up by a Navy ship and brought to shore. When she arrived at the nearest base, she had a message for everyone who would listen. I saw what they did up there, she said to the assembled officers. They're strong, but they're not gods. Their ships are big and slow. Their weapons are powerful, but take time to charge. And most important, they think we're just going to give up. What are you suggesting? Asked Colonel Martinez. I'm suggesting they don't know what humans are really like, Sarah replied. They've probably never fought a species like us. Most intelligent life probably evolved as prey animals. They learned to run and hide, but humans, we evolved as hunters. We learned to track and kill things bigger and stronger than us. Dr. Vasquez was listening to this conversation from Earth Command. Sarah's words made her think. She had studied human evolution for years. Humans were unusual among intelligent species. Most aliens probably came from prey animals that learned to be smart to survive, but humans came from predators. She's right, Dr. Vasquez said to herself. We're not like them at all. The 6 hours passed quickly. When the time was up, President Williams appeared on every screen in the world. His message was broadcast to the alien fleet as well. Commander Zexthera, he said. The people of Earth have made their decision. We will not surrender. We will not become your slaves. If you want this world, you'll have to take it. But I warn you, humans have been fighting for survival for hundreds of thousands of years. We're very good at it. Zexthera received this message on his ship. He was surprised. Most species begged for mercy by now, but humans seemed almost eager to fight. He decided they just didn't understand how hopeless their situation was. Very well, he said. Begin the invasion. Show them what happens to species that refuse the Council's generosity. The alien ships moved toward Earth, but as they entered the atmosphere, something unexpected happened. Human cities didn't try to hide. Instead, they lit up like Christmas. Trees, every light, every radio, every signal was turned on. It was like the humans wanted to be seen. Zexthera didn't understand it yet, but he had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. He thought he was invading a weak prey species. Instead, he had just woken up the most dangerous predators. The galaxy had ever seen, and humans had 6 billion years of evolution telling them exactly what to do to things that threatened their families. The alien ships landed in every major city on Earth. Zexthera had expected the humans to hide in bunkers or run to the mountains. Instead, he found something very different. The humans were waiting for them. In New York, the aliens set up their command post in Times Square. The massive alien ships cast shadows over the empty streets, but the humans hadn't run away. They were watching from windows, from rooftops, from sewers. They were studying the invaders. Master Sergeant Marcus Torres crouched behind a pile of rubble 3 blocks from the alien landing site. He had been a soldier for 20 years. He knew how to fight, how to hide, and how to kill. The aliens had better weapons, but they didn't know the city like he did. Count 12 guards around the main ship, he whispered into his radio. They're not wearing full armor. I can see weak spots. Copy that, Marcus, came the reply from Captain Sarah Chun. She had made it back to Earth and was now organizing the resistance. Remember, we don't attack yet. We watch and learn. Dr. Elena Vasquez was in her lab under the ruins of the university. She had managed to get samples of alien blood from the crash site of one of their small scout ships. What she found was very interesting. They're carbon-based like us, she said to her assistant, Dr. Park. But their immune system is completely different. They've never been exposed to Earth bacteria or viruses. That could be useful, Dr. Park replied. But how do we weaponize it? We don't need to, Elena said. Evolution already did that for us. We just need to find the right Earth disease and help it along. The aliens were having problems they hadn't expected. Their soldiers got sick from breathing Earth's air. The gravity was wrong for their bodies. And the humans weren't acting like any species they had conquered before. Commander Zextara stood in his command center, looking at reports from around the planet. They should be surrendering by now, he said to his aide. Where are their leaders? Why aren't they begging for mercy? Sir, the humans seem to be watching us, the aide replied. Our scouts report seeing them everywhere, but when we try to catch them, they disappear. Impossible, they're a primitive species. They can't hide from our sensors. But the humans could hide. They had been hiding from predators for millions of years before they became predators themselves. They knew every tunnel, every sewer, every hidden place in their cities. The aliens had sensors that could see through walls, but they couldn't see through human cleverness. In London, a group of humans led by former SAS soldier Captain James Wright had taken over the old underground tunnels. They moved through the city like ghosts, appearing to strike at alien patrols and disappearing before reinforcements could arrive. The key is patience, Wright told his team. We don't try to win battles. We make them afraid to leave their ships. We make them paranoid. We make them wonder what's watching them from every shadow. The aliens captured some humans for questioning. They thought this would help them understand their enemy. But the humans they caught told them lies mixed with truth. They painted a picture of a species that was much more dangerous than the aliens. Realized. Engineer Veltar was in charge of questioning the human prisoners. One of them was an old man named Professor Anderson, who taught history at a university. Tell me about your military, Veltar demanded. Professor Anderson smiled. Which one? We have hundreds of different armies. And that's just the official ones. Every human is a potential soldier. We've been fighting wars for thousands of years, it's what we do. But you're not warriors. You're a peaceful species. We studied your transmissions. Did you study our history? Anderson asked. We've had 2 world wars that killed over 100 million people. We built weapons that could destroy our entire planet. We've been to war constantly for our entire recorded history. The only reason we seem peaceful now is because we ran out of people to fight. Veltar was disturbed by this. His species had evolved from prey animals. They fought only when cornered. The idea of a species that fought for sport, for resources, for ideas was alien to him. You're lying, he said. Check your databases, Anderson replied. Look up Stalingrad. Look up Hiroshima. Look up Vietnam. Then ask yourself if you really want to fight a species that did those things to itself. Meanwhile, Captain Sarah Chun was meeting with resistance leaders from around the world. They gathered in an abandoned subway station deep under Manhattan. The meeting included former soldiers, scientists, engineers, and ordinary people who had decided to fight. The good news is that they're not as smart as they think, Sarah reported. They're used to fighting species that surrender quickly. They don't know how to handle a long fight. What about their technology? Asked Dr. Reyes, a weapons engineer from Mexico. Advanced, but not magical, Sarah replied. The shields stop energy weapons and fast-moving projectiles. But they don't stop slow-moving objects. A knife thrown hard enough can get through. Marcus Torres nodded. I've been watching their patrols. They move in predictable patterns. They trust their technology too much. They don't watch their backs. Most importantly, Dr. Vasquez added via radio, they're getting sick. Earth diseases are affecting them. their immune systems can't handle our bacteria. If we can make them sicker, we can level the playing field. The aliens were starting to realize they had made a mistake. Reports came in from every landing site. Humans were attacking supply convoys using improvised explosives. They were sabotaging alien equipment with simple tools. They were spreading diseases that the alien medical teams couldn't cure, but the worst part was the psychological warfare. Humans left messages for the aliens to find. Pictures of what humans had done to each other in their wars. Stories of battles where humans fought to the last person rather than surrender. Videos of human soldiers continuing to fight even when mortally wounded. Commander Zexthara read one of these messages and felt something his species rarely experienced. Fear. Humans have a saying, the message read. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. You chose the hard way. Welcome to hell. On the edge of human space, other humans were getting news of the invasion. The 3 human colonies had been growing slowly, mining asteroids and building new settlements. When they heard about Earth, everything changed. Captain James Liu commanded the colony ship Perseverance in the Alpha Centauri system. When the message arrived from Earth, he called a meeting of all the colony leaders. Earth is under attack, he announced. The aliens think they can make us slaves. They're wrong. What can we do? Asked Dr. Martinez, the colony's chief scientist. We're just miners and farmers. We have no warships. We have mining explosives, Liu replied. We have industrial equipment. We have asteroid mining ships that can carry massive loads. And we have something the aliens don't expect. What's that? Time. They think once they control Earth, the colonies will surrender. But they don't understand humans. We don't abandon family. We don't forget. We don't forgive. Liu looked around the room at the 200 colonists who had volunteered to return to Earth. We're going to turn every piece of equipment we have into a weapon. Mining charges become missiles. Cargo haulers become bombers. Asteroid movers become kinetic weapons. It will take months to prepare, Dr. Martinez said. Then we have months to get very creative about killing aliens. Liu replied, back on Earth, the resistance was growing stronger every day. Humans shared information through hidden radio networks. They built weapons in basement workshops. They turned everyday objects into tools of war. The aliens tried to cut off human communications. But humans had been preparing for nuclear war for decades. They had backup systems, hidden networks, and ways to communicate that the aliens couldn't understand. Dr. Vasquez made a breakthrough in her biological research. She had found a common Earth virus and modified it to specifically attack alien respiratory systems. It spread through the air and was almost impossible to stop. How long before it takes effect? Asked Sarah-chan. 2 weeks for the first symptoms, Elena replied. 4 weeks before it becomes serious. 6 weeks before it becomes fatal. And the best part is, it mutates faster than they can develop cures for it. Will it affect humans? Not at all. It's specifically designed for their biology. As the virus began to spread through the alien ranks, other problems mounted. Human attacks became more coordinated. Alien equipment kept breaking down from sabotage. And the psychological pressure was getting to the alien soldiers. Engineer Veltar had been studying humans for weeks now. The more he learned, the more frightened he became. He sent a secret message to his superiors in the Galactic Council. We have made a grave error, he wrote. Humans are not like the other species we have conquered. They do not think like prey. Animals, they think like predators. They are not trying to survive this war. They are trying to win it, and I believe they can. He paused, then added the words that would haunt the Galactic Council. My analysis shows that we are not fighting a primitive species. We are fighting something that has been perfecting the art of killing for millions of years. And they are very, very good at it. The message was intercepted by human intelligence. When Sarah-chan read it, she smiled for the first time since the invasion began. Pass this along to all resistance cells, she ordered. Tell them the aliens are finally starting to understand what they're dealing with. Tell them it's working. The war was just beginning, but already the balance was starting to shift. The aliens had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened something that hadn't been seen in the galaxy for millions of years. They had awakened human nature. 6 months had passed since the aliens invaded Earth. Commander Zexthara stood in his command center, staring at reports that made no sense. His forces were dying. Not from human weapons, but from diseases they couldn't cure. His soldiers were afraid to leave their ships. And worst of all, the humans were getting stronger. "How many ships have we lost this week?" he asked his aide. 17, sir. Most to those flying bombs the humans make from their civilian vehicles. 3 more too. The sickness that spreads through our ventilation systems. Zexthara felt tired. His species had conquered 47 worlds. It had never been this hard. What about the executions? Did that stop their attacks? The aide looked uncomfortable. Sir, after we killed those 200 humans in Times Square, the attacks got worse, much worse. Zexthara had ordered the executions to show humans what happened when they resisted. It was standard procedure. Execute some civilians and the rest would surrender. It worked on every other species, but humans weren't every other species. The morning after the executions, every alien patrol found the same message painted on walls across the city. You just made it personal. The humans had stopped holding. BACK Dr. Elena Vasquez worked in her hidden laboratory under the ruins of Manhattan. The virus she had created was spreading faster than she had hoped. But that wasn't enough anymore. After the executions, she had started working on something much worse. "The new strain is ready," she told Captain Sarah Chun over their encrypted radio. "It's airborne, fast-acting, and completely lethal to their species." "How long do they have?" "Once infected?" Sarah asked. 72 hours, maybe less." Sarah was quiet for a moment. Before the invasion, she would have been horrified by the idea of creating a biological weapon. But that was before she watched aliens murder innocent people. Now she felt nothing but cold satisfaction. "Release it," she ordered. The biological weapon spread through the alien forces like wildfire. Within a week, entire ships were found drifting in orbit, their crews dead. The aliens tried to evacuate, but humans had been busy for 6 months. Every exit from Earth was watched, tracked, and targeted. Captain James Liu and his converted mining fleet had arrived at the edge of the solar system. What the aliens saw on their sensors should have been impossible. Dozens of human ships armed with weapons no civilian vessels should have been able to carry. "Sir, the human colonial ships are armed with nuclear warheads," reported the alien. Scanner operator. "That's impossible," Zexthara replied. "Their colonies are just mining operations." "Sir, I'm reading mass drivers, missile pods, and what appears to be kinetic bombardment systems." "These aren't mining ships anymore? They're warships?" Liu's voice came over the communication channel. "Attention, alien fleet. This is Captain James Liu of the Human Colonial Defense Force. You attacked our home. You murdered our people. You made a big mistake. We can negotiate," Zexthara transmitted back. "The Galactic Council can offer compensation for any misunderstanding." Liu's laugh was cold. "Misunderstanding? You tried to make us slaves? You killed civilians? There's no misunderstanding here. There's only payback. The converted mining ships. Open fire. Nuclear warheads designed for breaking apart asteroids slammed into alien vessels. Mass drivers that once moved tons of ore now launch tungsten rods at incredible speeds. Ships that had been built to haul cargo across space had become engines of destruction. The aliens fought back, but their weapons were designed for quick conquests, not prolonged warfare. Human ships were crude but effective. More importantly, humans fought with a fury the aliens had never encountered. On Earth, the resistance had evolved into something the aliens couldn't understand. Humans didn't just fight to survive. They fought to win completely. Every alien position was under constant attack. Every alien soldier lived in fear. Marcus Torres led a raid on an alien supply depot in Chicago. His team moved through the sewers, striking without warning and disappearing before reinforcements arrived. But this wasn't just about destroying supplies anymore. "Remember," he told his team, "we don't just hit them and run. We hit them and make sure they know we're coming back. We want them to be afraid to sleep." The psychological warfare was working. Alien soldiers reported seeing humans everywhere, even when scanners showed nothing. They heard human voices in their communications. They found human messages in their food supplies. The messages were always the same. "We know where you are. We know when you sleep. We're coming for you." Engineer Veltar was one of the few aliens who understood what was happening. He had studied human psychology and biology for months. Now he was writing his final report to the Galactic Council. "The humans have weaponized everything," he wrote. "Their children's toys become surveillance devices. Their medical supplies become chemical weapons. Their entertainment systems become psychological warfare tools. They have turned their entire civilization into a weapon pointed at us." He coughed, feeling the effects of the latest human virus. His species had advanced medicine, but human diseases evolved faster than alien science could keep up. "Most disturbing is their unity," he continued. "Other species fight among themselves even during conquest. Humans have set aside all differences to focus on destroying us. They had become a single organism dedicated to our extinction." Veltar paused, then wrote the words that would be his last message to his people. "We believed we were conquering a primitive species. We were wrong. We have awakened something that has been dormant in human DNA for thousands of years. We have reminded them that they are apex predators, and apex predators do not forgive threats to their pack." Ambassador Creedle received Veltar's report on the Council homeworld. For the first time in his million-year life, he felt fear. The human resistance wasn't just winning. They were hunting the alien forces with methodical precision. "How many species have ever successfully resisted conquest?" he asked his aide. "None, sir. In 3,000 years of expansion, no species has ever forced the Council to retreat. What makes humans different?" The aide consulted the data. They appear to be the only intelligent species that evolved from persistence predators. Every other species we've encountered evolved from prey animals or pack hunters. Humans evolved to track their targets across vast distances and wear them down over time. Creedle understood now. Humans weren't fighting like prey animals trying to escape. They weren't fighting like pack hunters trying to drive off competition. They were fighting like persistent predators hunting down wounded prey, and the aliens were the prey. The war reached a turning point when human forces captured an alien research facility outside Paris. Dr. Vasquez led the science team that examined the alien technology. "This is incredible," she told Sarah Chun. "Their technology is advanced, but it's all designed for quick victories. They have no equipment for long campaigns, no supplies for extended warfare, no weapons designed for guerrilla fighting." "What does that tell us?" "It tells us they've never faced real resistance before. Every species they've conquered must have surrendered quickly. They're not prepared for a fight that lasts more than a few weeks," Sarah smiled grimly. "Good, because we're just getting started." The captured facility also contained databases with information about the Galactic Council. What the humans found changed everything. "They've conquered 47 species," Dr. Vasquez reported. "But look at this." Every conquest followed the same pattern. Quick attack, demand surrender, occupation within days. The longest resistance they ever faced lasted 3 weeks. "How long have we been fighting?" 6 months, and we're getting stronger." Captain Liu's fleet had cleared Earth's orbital space of alien ships. The few that remained were badly damaged and trying to escape. But humans had learned to build tracking devices during the occupation. There would be no escape. "Target the fleeing ships," Liu ordered. "Make sure any alien that survives knows what happens when you threaten humanity." The nuclear warheads found their targets. Alien ships died in balls of fire. The few survivors sent desperate messages to the Galactic Council. "Retreat." They screamed. "The humans are not what we thought. They're not conquerable. They're something else." But it was too late for retreat. Humans had tasted alien blood and they wanted more. Commander Zexthara stood alone on his flagship bridge. Most of his crew was dead from human viruses. His fleet was destroyed. His invasion had become a disaster beyond imagination. He sent one final message to the Galactic Council. "We have awakened something terrible," he transmitted. "Humans do not fight like any species we know. They do not seek to survive. They seek to eliminate threats completely. They have turned their entire species into a weapon. If you value the Council's existence, destroy humanity now, before they learn to travel between stars as we do." The transmission ended. Commander Zexthara activated his ship's self-destruct rather than face capture by humans on Earth. Sarah Chun received reports from around the globe. The alien occupation was collapsing. Their soldiers were dying from human diseases. Their equipment was sabotaged beyond repair. Their morale was broken, but the humans weren't satisfied with just driving the aliens off Earth. They had learned something about themselves during the occupation. They had remembered what they really were underneath all their civilization and technology. They were hunters. And they had found new prey. Dr. Vasquez completed her analysis of captured alien technology. "We can build faster-than-light ships now," she reported. "We can track the aliens back to their homes." "Good," Sarah replied, "because this war isn't over. It's just beginning." The aliens had wanted to make humanity their slaves. Instead, they had created their own worst nightmare. They had reminded humans that they were the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever seen, and now those predators were coming for them. 1 year after the invasion began, Captain James Liu stood on the bridge of his converted mining ship, now called the Vengeance. Around him, 300 human vessels prepared for the largest military operation in human history. They were no longer defending Earth, they were hunting their attackers across the galaxy. "All ships report ready," announced Lieutenant Park from the communications station. "The target system is 47 light-years from Earth. Intelligence says it's the hegemony's main military base," Liu nodded. Using captured alien technology, humans had learned to build faster-than-light engines. More importantly, they had learned to track alien ships back to their sources. Every alien vessel that had attacked Earth was now a trail leading to enemy targets. "Remember," Liu announced to the fleet, "we're not just attacking military targets. We're sending a message to the entire galaxy. This is what happens when you threaten humanity." The human fleet jumped to hyperspace. Their destination was a world called Zikmor, home to 50 million aliens of the hegemony species. It was a beautiful planet with floating cities and crystal spires. By tomorrow, it would be a dead world. On the Galactic Council homeworld, Ambassador Kretel received reports that filled him with terror. Human ships had been detected moving toward hegemony space. But these weren't the crude vessels that had defended Earth. These were warships armed with weapons the aliens had never seen before. "How is this possible?" Kretel demanded. "Humans couldn't build faster-than-light ships a year ago." "Sir, they've reverse-engineered our technology," reported General Morduk. "But they've changed it, made it more aggressive. Their ships carry nuclear weapons, biological weapons, and something our scientists can't identify." "What do you mean, can't identify?" "The energy readings don't match anything in our databases. Whatever humans have built, it's completely new." What the aliens couldn't understand was that humans had weaponized their own creativity. Dr. Elena Vasquez had spent months studying alien technology, not to copy it, but to find ways to destroy it. The mysterious energy readings were from weapons designed to specifically target alien biology and technology. On Earth, Admiral Sarah Chun, promoted after her success leading the resistance, stood in the new command center built from the ruins of the old one. Banks of screens showed human fleets moving across the galaxy. Each fleet had a single mission: complete extinction of any species that had participated in the invasion. "Status report on Operation Payback," she ordered. "Fleet Alpha is approaching the hegemony homeworld," reported Colonel Martinez. "Fleet Beta is moving toward the Vulti system. Fleet Gamma is en route to the Council's outer colonies." Sarah studied the tactical display. Red dots showed alien worlds. Blue dots showed human fleets. With cold satisfaction, she watched the blue dots moving toward their targets. What about the biological weapons? Dr. Vasquez reports all viral strains are ready for deployment. Each one is specifically designed for different alien species. No chance of cross-contamination with human biology. The strategy was simple and brutal. Humans had learned that the Galactic Council was made up of 12 different species. Each species would face extinction from weapons designed specifically for their biology. It was genocide on a galactic scale, and humans felt no guilt about it. The first target was Zikmor. Captain Liu's fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. The alien planetary defenses immediately activated, but they were designed to fight other alien technologies. Human weapons worked differently. Launch the kinetic bombardment, Liu ordered. Massive chunks of dense metal, accelerated to near light speed, slammed into the planet's surface. Each impact created explosions equivalent to nuclear weapons, but without the radiation. The floating cities crashed to the ground in minutes. Deploy biological packages, Liu continued. Human ships released clouds of specially designed viruses into the planet's atmosphere. The viruses spread quickly, targeting only the alien species that lived. There, within hours, the entire planet was infected. Send the message, Liu ordered. A transmission broadcast from the human fleet reached every communications system in the galaxy. This is Captain James Liu of the Human Colonial Defense Force, his voice echoed across space. 1 year ago, you attacked our world and murdered our people. You tried to make us slaves. Today, you learn the price of threatening humanity. This world dies as payment for Earth's suffering. 46 more worlds will follow. The transmission ended. Zikmor, once home to 50 million aliens, was now a graveyard on the Council homeworld. Panic spread through the government buildings. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Human fleets were attacking every world that had participated in the invasion. But they weren't just destroying military targets. They were exterminating entire species, Ambassador Creedle called an emergency. Session of the Galactic Council. The 12 species representatives met in the Great Chamber, but 3 seats were already empty. The hegemony, the Veltai, and the Morden species had been completely wiped out in the first week of human attacks. We must negotiate, declared Ambassador Sectra of the Zith Collective. The humans cannot be reasoned with, but perhaps they can be bargained with. What could we possibly offer them? Asked General Morduk. They seem to want only our complete destruction. Creedle activated the communication system. Attention human forces. This is Ambassador Krytol of the Galactic Council. We wish to negotiate terms for peace. The response came from Admiral Sarah Chun on Earth. Ambassador Krytol, her voice was cold as space, you don't seem to understand. This isn't a war anymore. This is an extermination. You chose to make humanity your enemy. Now you face the consequences. We can offer reparations, technology, anything you desire. What we desire is very simple, Sarah replied. The complete elimination of every species that participated in the attack on Earth. You wanted to enslave humanity. Instead, you've signed your own death warrants. The transmission ended. There would be no negotiation. Across the galaxy, human fleets continued their work. Fleet Beta arrived at the Voltai homeworld to find the aliens had tried to evacuate. It didn't matter. Human ships tracked down every refugee vessel and destroyed them. Dr. Vasquez's biological weapons followed the survivors to every world they tried to hide on. No survivors were Admiral Chun's standing orders. Complete extinction. The humans had learned something during their resistance on Earth. They had discovered that they were very good at hunting down and killing things that threatened them. Now they applied that skill on a galactic scale, Captain Wright. The former SAS soldier who had led resistance in London now commanded a human strike force specializing in finding hidden alien bases. His ships could track alien life signs across entire star systems. Located another hegemony outpost, he reported to Admiral Chun. Looks like about 10,000 survivors hiding in an asteroid field. Eliminate them. Chen replied without hesitation. Wright's ships moved through the asteroid field like wolves hunting sheep. The aliens had hidden their base inside a hollowed-out asteroid, thinking they were safe. They were wrong. Human sensors found them easily. Target the asteroid, Wright ordered. Full nuclear bombardment. The asteroid base disappeared in a ball of nuclear fire. 10,000 more aliens died, and humanity moved closer to its goal of complete revenge. The most terrifying part for the surviving aliens was how methodical the humans were. This wasn't random violence or angry destruction. It was systematic. Extermination carried out with scientific precision. Dr. Vasquez had created a different virus for each alien species. The Volti virus attacked their nervous systems. The Morden virus dissolved their respiratory organs. The Zith virus caused their bones to disintegrate. Each weapon was designed to cause maximum suffering before death. "Why are you doing this?" asked the captured alien commander during interrogation. "Because you threatened our children," replied the human interrogator. "Because you tried to enslave our species. Because you thought we were weak. We're showing you how wrong you were." On Earth, human factories worked around the clock building more warships. Every civilian vessel was being converted for military use. Passenger ships became troop transports. Cargo haulers became weapons platforms. Even luxury yachts were fitted. With missile launchers, the human war effort involved every person on the planet. Children as young as 10 worked in factories building ammunition. Elderly people volunteered for dangerous missions. Everyone understood that this was about more than revenge. It was about sending a message to the galaxy. "Never threaten humanity again," was painted on the hull of every human warship. Ambassador Creedle watched his ancient civilization crumble. Species that had existed for millions of years were dying in weeks. The Galactic Council that had ruled space for thousands of years was being destroyed by creatures that had learned to fly between stars only months ago. "How?" he asked his aide. "How are they so effective?" "Sir, our analysts believe it's because they evolved differently than U.S. Most intelligent species evolved from prey animals. We learned to build civilizations to protect ourselves from predators. Humans evolved from predators. They learned to build civilizations to become better at hunting." Creedle understood now. The Council had spent thousands of years conquering species that were fundamentally similar to themselves. They were all, at heart, prey animals that had learned to use technology. They fought to defend themselves or to gain resources. But humans were different. Humans fought to eliminate threats completely. They didn't want to defeat their enemies. They wanted to erase them from existence. "Sir, we're receiving another transmission from the humans," his aide reported. "Admiral." Hyun's face appeared on the screen. "Ambassador Creedle, this is your final warning. Surrender now and face quick extinction, or continue to run and face slow extinction. Either way, you die. The only choice you have left is how much you suffer first." Creedle looked at the tactical display. Red dots representing alien worlds were disappearing one by one. Blue dots representing human fleets were spreading across the galaxy like a plague. In 6 months, humanity had gone from victims to the most feared species in known space. They had turned their entire civilization into a weapon pointed at the galaxy, and they were winning. "Prepare my personal ship," Creedle told his aide. "If we're going to die, I want to look the humans in the eye when it happens." The galaxy was learning a lesson it would never forget. You don't attack humanity's home. You don't threaten humanity's children. And you definitely don't try to make humanity your slaves. Because humans remember everything. And humans never forgive. 2 years had passed since the aliens first attacked. Earth, Admiral Sarah Chung, stood on the observation deck of the massive space station that humans had built in Earth's orbit. Through the transparent walls, she could see hundreds of human warships patrolling the solar system. Earth was no longer just protected. It was the center of the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. "Final report on Operation Payback," announced Colonel Martinez as he entered the room. Sarah turned from the window. "How many alien species remain?" "0, Admiral." The last hegemony survivors were eliminated yesterday. The Galactic Council is completely extinct. All participating species have been removed from existence. Sarah nodded. It had taken 18 months, but humanity had achieved complete revenge. 47 worlds that had once been home to billions of aliens were now empty. The species that had thought they could enslave humanity no longer existed. What about the other species? The ones that didn't participate in the invasion? They're terrified, Admiral. We've received over 300 messages requesting peaceful contact. They all say the same thing. They want to surrender before we even meet them. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy had learned what happened when you threatened humanity. Now every species in known space lived in fear of human retribution. Ambassador Krital was dead, along with his entire species. But before he died, he had sent one final message to every species in the galaxy. It was a warning that would be remembered for millions of years. We thought humans were prey, his message had said. We were wrong. They are the ultimate predators. If you value your species' survival, never threaten them. Never attack them, never even annoy them. Because once you make them angry, there is no mercy. There is no negotiation. There is only extinction. Captain James Liu had returned from his final mission. His fleet had tracked down the last hidden alien base on the edge of the galaxy. Now he stood in Admiral Chun's office, giving his report. "The galaxy is quiet, Admiral," he said. "No signs of organized resistance, no hidden fleets, no secret weapons. The species that attacked us are gone. Completely gone." "Good. What about our expansion plans?" "The colony ships are ready. We can establish bases on any world we choose. Most alien species have already offered us their planets if we want them." Sarah looked at the star charts on her wall. Red marks showed where alien civilizations had once existed. Blue marks showed where humans were now expanding. In 2 years, humanity had gone from a single world to the dominant power in the galaxy. Dr. Elena Vasquez entered the office carrying a data pad. She looked tired, but satisfied. Her biological weapons had been more effective than anyone had imagined. "The final medical reports are complete," she announced. "No alien DNA remains anywhere in the galaxy. Every virus we released has run its course. The targeted species are extinct down to the last individual. Any chance of revival? Stored genetic material? Hidden colonies? None. We were very thorough. The species that attacked Earth are gone forever." Sarah felt a deep satisfaction. Humanity had not just won the war. They had erased their enemies from existence. It was the most complete victory in galactic history. A communications officer entered the room. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Zalani Republic. They want to establish diplomatic contact." "Put them through." The holographic image of an alien appeared in the center of the room. The creature was small and looked frightened. When it spoke, its voice shook with fear. "Great humans," it said. "I am Ambassador Velanara of the Zalani Republic. We offer our complete submission to your species. We wish only peace and friendship. Please do not exterminate us." Sarah studied the alien. The Zalani had not participated in the invasion of Earth. According to intelligence reports, they were a peaceful species that had never conquered other worlds. "Ambassador Velanara," Sarah replied, "humanity has no quarrel with species that did not threaten us. We offer you the same choice we offer all peaceful species. Join our galactic alliance as equals, or remain independent but follow our rules." "What are your rules, Great Admiral?" "Simple. No species may attack another without our permission. No species may threaten human interests. No species may develop weapons capable of destroying planets. Follow these rules, and you have nothing to fear." From humanity, the alien looked relieved. "We accept your terms completely. The Zalani Republic pledges eternal friendship to humanity." The transmission ended. It was the same conversation Sarah had with dozens of species over the past months. The galaxy had reorganized itself around human power. Captain Wright, now Admiral. Wright, commanded the human enforcement fleet. His job was to patrol the galaxy and make sure the new rules were followed. So far, no species had been brave enough to break them. "Any problems to report?" Sarah asked him during their weekly meeting. "The Corvani Empire was building some large warships," Wright replied. "We sent 3 ships to investigate. The Corvani immediately surrendered and offered to dismantle their entire military." "Good. What about the trade routes?" "All clear. Species are lining up to trade with us. They're offering their best technology, their most valuable resources, everything they have. They're desperate to stay on our good side." Sarah wasn't surprised. Humanity now controlled the most advanced technology in the galaxy. Combining human creativity with captured alien knowledge had produced weapons and tools that no single species could match. Dr. Vasquez had established research stations throughout human space. Scientists from dozens of alien species volunteered to work for humanity, sharing their knowledge in exchange for protection. "We've made remarkable advances," she reported to Sarah. "Faster than light communication, energy shields that surpass anything the old council had, and weapons that can destroy entire solar systems." "Solar systems? We've learned to weaponize stars themselves. Turn them into supernovas on command. One human ship can now destroy an entire alien civilization in minutes." Sarah nodded. It was important that every species in the galaxy knew humanity possessed such power. Fear was humanity's greatest weapon now. The memorial on Earth had been completed. It stood in the ruins of New York where the aliens had first landed. The monument was simple but powerful. It showed a human family looking up at the stars, with words carved in stone beneath them. "Here lie the enemies of humanity. They thought we were weak. They thought we were prey. They learned the truth too late. Let this be a warning to the galaxy. We remember everything. We forgive nothing. We protect our own." Families came from across the human colonies to visit the memorial. Children learned about the war and why humanity now ruled the galaxy. The lesson was always the same: never let anyone threaten your family. President Williams, now old and gray, stood before the memorial with Admiral Chun. He had led humanity through its darkest hour and lived to see its greatest triumph. Was it worth it? He asked Sarah. "The price we paid, the things we did?" Sarah looked at the names carved on the memorial. Thousands of humans had died in the invasion. Millions more had died in the war that followed. But billions of humans now lived free across the galaxy. "Yes," she replied, "it was worth it. Our children will never know slavery. Our species will never again face extinction. The galaxy knows what happens when you threaten humanity." A year later, humanity faced its first real test of the new galactic order. A species called the Vekmari had attacked a peaceful world called Zelros. The victims immediately called for human help. Admiral Chun dispatched a single ship to investigate. The ship was commanded by Captain Torres, the former resistance fighter from Earth. When Torres arrived at the Vekmari homeworld, he found a species that had forgotten the lessons of the war. They refused to surrender. They threatened to fight humanity. Torres sent a simple message back to Earth: "The Vekmari have chosen extinction." Within a week, the Vekmari species no longer existed. Their homeworld was a dead rock orbiting a dying star. Every ship, every colony, every individual had been eliminated with clinical precision. The message to the galaxy was clear. The rules were not suggestions. After the Vekmari extinction, no species ever again broke humanity's laws. The galaxy had entered a new age of peace enforced by human power. 10 years after the invasion, a new species made contact with humanity. They were called the Arileth, and they came from a distant galaxy. They had heard stories about humans and wanted to meet this legendary species. Admiral Chun, now Supreme Commander of all human forces, met with the Arileth ambassador on the space station above Earth. "We have traveled far to meet you," the ambassador said. "Stories of humanity have spread across many galaxies. Some call you monsters. Others call you guardians. What do you call yourselves?" Sarah thought for a moment, then smiled. "We call ourselves human, and that's enough." The ambassador looked confused. What does it mean to be human? It means we protect what we love. It means we remember our friends and our enemies. It means we never give up and we never give in. Most importantly, it means that anyone who threatens our family learns why the galaxy fears us. The Arilith ambassador nodded slowly. We offer friendship and alliance. Then you have nothing to fear from humanity? Sarah replied. Welcome to our galaxy. Follow our rules, and you'll find us the best friends you could ask for. Break our rules, and you'll discover why 47 species no longer exist. The meeting ended with a new alliance. Humanity continued to grow, to explore, and to protect the innocent. The galaxy was vast, but human ships patrolled every corner of it. On Earth, children played in parks built on the sites of old battlefields. They learned about the war in school, but to them it was ancient history. They had never known slavery, never known defeat, never known fear. They were the inheritors of humanity's victory. They lived free because their parents had refused to surrender. They explored the stars because their species had proven they belonged. Among them, and somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, other species told stories about the humans. Stories of a species that could not be conquered, could not be enslaved, could not be destroyed. Stories that ended with the same warning that had echoed across space for 20 years. You don't survive a human retaliation.